Abraham Lincoln's birthplace is in Kentucky. Sinking Spring Log Cabin. Childhood home was in Kentucky, not too far from here. And there's Abe reading, studying by the firelight of the fireplace. Corner cupboard made by Thomas Lincoln. That was his dad. Why leave Kentucky? Interview with Dennis Hanks, who lived nearby. He left because slavery was there. His mother died of milk sickness. Look at this wood sculpture here made with, I guess, bits of old buildings. Travel into Illinois. The Lincoln Caravan, composed of 3 wagons with 13 people from Thomas Lincoln's extended household. Lincoln was largely self-taught through personal reading and study. Rules respecting elocation. Some of the things he read, some of the books. Think of the Entrepreneur. Pioneer, Indiana was a river-based society. All the early communities survived by trade based on water transportation. So Lincoln created a ferry service. New Salem, 1830 to 1836. Lincoln's alma mater, because he launched his career in law and politics. Did you know that Abraham Lincoln was a veteran riverman? He helped pilot the Talisman from Springfield to New Salem, Illinois in 1832. And here he is, I guess, discussing politics. His occupations in New Salem included the following: election clerk, store clerk and laborer, postmaster, assistant surveyor, militia volunteer, politician. I guess this is the politician part. Romance. One of the most controversial episodes from Lincoln's New Salem years was his claim that he was engaged to Anne Rutledge. Apparently he wasn't. Lincoln enters politics. Abraham Lincoln became involved in politics as soon as he moved to New Salem after his trip to New Orleans. Lincoln's first run for the House, Illinois State House, 1832. He lost the election, but did not win over most of his neighbors in the area of New Salem. He won his next election in 1834. Most of his adult life, Lincoln was a member of the Whig Party. Well, he was in the militia, and here's his sword. Relaxing with Abraham Lincoln. There's a vague popular belief that lawyers are necessarily dishonest. I say vague because when we consider to what extent confidence and honors are reposed and conferred upon lawyers by the people, it appears improbable that the impression of dishonesty is very distinct and vivid. If, in your own judgment, you cannot be an honest lawyer, resolve to be honest without being a lawyer. Choose some other occupation rather than one, and choosing which you do in advance consent to be a knave. When not traveling on the 8th Judicial Circuit, Lincoln would often be found relaxing at Dillard's drugstore near the state capitol. One of his favorite activities was telling jokes and stories. He spent hours laughing and discussing politics around the stove at Dillard's shop. And here we go, his walking cane and his straight razor for Todd Lincoln. They had a romance, then they broke up. And then again, in 1841, they married, November the 4th. A stormy courtship. She grew up in a family of prosperous Kentucky slaveholders and was well educated, but they shared many of the same political ideas. Lincoln admired her wit. Friends and family recall that in the winter of 1840-41, an uncertain Lincoln tried to break off the engagement to Mary. She was heartbroken, and Lincoln fell into a depression so serious that his friends feared for his sanity. The couple reconciled shortly afterwards and married in November of 1841. So what did he invent here? He applied a patent for a method of lifting vessels over the shoals. Would it be this thing right here? An axle-less wagon. Oh, okay. Sliding spars. I guess that was the top part there. Here she is, Mary Todd, his future wife. Developing a political reputation. Lincoln, practicing law, was not just a way to make a living. It was a way to pursue his political ambitions. He was already rapidly rising young politician when he moved to Springfield in 1837. Political speeches and debates drew large crowds. Lincoln's wit and ability to deliver an argument served him well. Culture in his age of party politics was very aggressive and partisan. Each paper was either for one party or another, never neutral. Compromises were hammered out in political battle, which included long public debates, newspaper editorials, and even name-calling, fistfights, and duels. Lincoln was involved in all of these political conflicts during his career. His impressive ability with storytelling, satire, and mimicry were legendary among the voters of Central Illinois. Lincoln home in Jackson and 8th Street, Springfield, Illinois. Illinois State Writing Desk. Here it is. chair from the U.S. House of Representatives, (1857). As it turned out, the chairs were too large and sold as surplus. In 1846, Lincoln won election to the U.S. House of Representatives. He served only one term, but he made several major speeches in support of federal money for transportation improvements. Lincoln made a political enemy of Democratic President James K. Polk when he delivered a controversial speech called the Spot Resolutions. Family man. The Lincolns were an affectionate and devoted couple, but their life together had its difficulty. Abraham's duties as a circuit lawyer and politician kept him away from home for weeks at a time, and his absent-mindedness and informal manners with visitors frustrated Mary. Lincoln and his wife got along tolerably well, unless Mrs. L. got the devil in her. Lincoln paid no attention. There's his son, Robert Todd Lincoln. There's Mary, Willie to the left, Mary, and Tad Lincoln. And look at this china. A serving set. Pretty fancy, huh? Diorama, scene of the Ohio River. In 1841, a period of profound personal turmoil, Lincoln paid a visit to his friend Joshua Speed in Kentucky. He encountered a group of slaves on their way to plantations in the Deep South. In 1855, he reminded Speed of this episode. American flag. Supporters of Abraham Lincoln presented him with this homemade American flag in 1858. This vase, porcelain vase, was decorated with a scene from the abolitionist novel Uncle Tom's Cabin. Would have been purchased by wealthy abolitionists. Items like these were sold at special fairs to raise money for public speaking and agitation by anti-slavery groups. Harriet Beecher Stowe's novel, Uncle Tom's Cabin. There's a copy of the book.